welcome to the Gamers Table. It is Monday, and we're reviewing the Scepter of Zavandor!
There's the box.
The Scepter of Zavandor is a dry Euro game. It's a little lengthy.
The players represent young students of magic competing for the Scepter of Zavandor, which gives the position of Archmage. To achieve it, they have to accumulate enough magical power and knowledge.
Wow. It's long. It's not, fortunately, not as long as Twilight Imperium or anything like that, or Galactica. But, well, actually, it could be almost as long as Galactica. But it's certainly not as fun.
So everybody gets
we get a bunch of extra
a
bags
different
here.
character card. All of them start with a different school of magic, like different
German, English.
It's a lot of player interaction. You got to overbid people. You know, like if they want something, you got to make them either pay more for it. I mean, in a lot of these games, you got to watch other players, and you got to counteract what they're doing, or else, you know, they are going to win. You got to mess up with their plans.
Well, this game is more or less just an auctioning game. It's just money management auctioning. And instead of actual money, it's magical energy.
We have this board here. There's different schools of magic, different, you know, like geography, history, and sciences. They're the magical schools, subjects, if you will. And each one of these costs stuff to go up on them, and as you go up, you get bonuses for them, and you get to all the way to the end, you get a couple of extra bonus points. And this is also your Eurogame victory point track around the edge, where you could easily knock them off.
Yeah, the victory points fluctuate in the game depending on what you buy or sell. Because all the gems, which also give you your currency, your magical energy, are also worth victory points. So your diamonds are worth 2 victory points, your emeralds are worth 2, your rubies are worth 3, your topaz and sapphire are worth 1 victory point.
Yes.
I think the idea of the game isn't all that bad, but I think it just takes far too long to get to the goal. The mechanics seem all right, but you spend about 2 hours trying to make money and improve things to get to what you really need to get to.
And then that final auction is like 5 minutes, and boom, now the game's over.
Yeah, it's just such a long build-up for such a quick payoff.
Yeah, that's
if you can afford to do it. Yeah.
The game ends when 5 or more of these sentinels are purchased, auctioned off, type of thing. Someone decides to start an auction. They say 120, and if anybody else has $120, maybe they'll fight for it. But the game is slow build up to get to the point where you can afford them. But as soon as you get to that point, the game's over, like a snap. So,
and pretty much the first person able to afford that stuff is going to really snap up pretty quickly too.
Well, it's a big advantage to definitely have the money to get there faster.
Yeah.
So, going back to your player boards, as we were discussing earlier, you have, up at the top, you'll have 5 knowledge chips that will allow you to get stuff on the
other
board there.
Subjects.
And you have the different subjects listed and what getting the different levels will get you. Every time you go up a level, you get a bit of a bonus, things get cheaper or something like that. And you have places to put different gemstones. You don't have so many places for gemstones. Some of the magic items you can purchase will give you extra places to put gemstones, but these gemstones are what generate your money. And you will either, if you have 4 of a gemstone, you'll get a chit that has so many points on it. If you have less than 4, or forever over that 4, you'll get cards that have random values on them. And a lot of time it seems that getting the 3 cards with the random values is better deal than getting the chit. And you have a hand limit. These cards represent 1 card each. Those chits represent 3 cards each, and there's magic dust. Some of the magic dust represents 2, some of the magic dust represents 1. So you've got to watch your hand limit because you can only have so much at the end of the turn. The start of the turn when you get your income. You can have a hand full of stuff, but make sure you spend it because you can't hold on to it. Because money means nothing. It's a euro.
Money means everything, but mind you, in this game, it's not money; it's magical energy.
But at the end of the game, the money doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not worth a victory point at all.
No,
It's during the game that it really matters.
Well,
You do need to
what-
generate your
it's
money
what
as
buys you the
fast as
victory
quickly.
points.
Yeah. Person who manages, their cards and stuff the best, will get the most money soonest. Will end up, stomping everybody.
There's not a whole lot of chance in this game. One thing that's good about this game is it's a little bit of a hindrance on the people who are in the lead. The person who's in first and second actually have to spend more at the auction when they want to purchase a magical item or a sentinel.
And it's misprinted on those cards.
Yes, the person in second place is misprinted. It should actually, instead of being 10, it should only be 5.
Yeah, the first
artifacts should cost 5, and sentinels could cost only 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
That's
a bit of a
misspelled.
catch-up mechanism there. Person in first place will have to spend 10 extra. Person in second place spends 5 extra, while person in last spends whatever it costs them with bonuses and stuff.
And that penalty kicks in as soon as you have 10 or more victory points.
So all you got to do is, until almost near the end of the game, stay in third place, and you have no penalties whatsoever. Just let those. You take your penalties.
If you have below 10 victory points,
No, it's
nearing the end
because
of the
third
game-
place doesn't matter what victory points you
Oh,
have.
yes.
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
As long as you stay below second, you're golden.
Yes.
In a more than 3-player game, you get a fourth player. Fourth player gets a bonus for being fourth.
Yes.
So it's almost an incentive to drag your ass until the end of the game.
Mind you, if you're dragging your ass, you're at the end of the game, you're not going to be able to afford anything because obviously your victory points reflect how much power you have in front of you as well.
So bored.
Wrapping up
I think
for
we're
the
ready to
Scepter of
wrap.
Zavandor.
I give the Scepter of Zavandor a 7.5.
I enjoy this game a lot. It is a very dry Euro. It's not very exciting, but it's a game that I enjoy.
That sounds contradictory to me. I don't know.
Well, some games are more exciting than others. There's no dice rolls. There's not a huge amount of chance in this game.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just
There are
how
no
well
big
you
swings in
manage.
that game. It's not you were in fourth, all of a sudden you're in first. You're in fourth.
Yeah.
You're probably in fourth all the way to the end.
Well,
That's the thing.
fourth has a bit of advantage
Yeah.
to help them.
Not much
win
though. Like
artifacts.
I'm
when
just
we
saying,
played last
once you
time,
get a few
it didn't
turns
help
in.
Craig that much.
Boring. I give the Scepter of Zavandor a 5. Theme, it's there. It's talking about magic and learning it. If this apparently these guys don't believe in the Harry Potter school of magic learning because they make learning magic as boring as possible. This is why they get to be old farts with gray beards before they learn any magic, because they're so damn bored they keep falling asleep all the time. This game is like the manual for Hansa Teutonica. It will put you to sleep.
You got to put a close up of the manual of Hansa Teutonica on it.
Easy to learn. Yeah, it's not a hard game to figure out how to play. I mean, like any Euro, it's got a sort of formula that you need to go by. And it sort of reminds me of my game Lunar Markets in that if you expand too quickly, you might not be able to support what you're expanding, and then you lose your gems because you couldn't support them and somebody else wrecked your stuff.
Yeah, that way. Skip a person.
Fun to play. Like I said, it's boring. It is so boring. Nothing happens. Hooray! I've spent 20 minutes and now I've moved my cube 4 squares. Woohoo! Break out the party favors! But it is a good game in itself. It is definitely not my type of game. If you like the type of games I've given high numbers to, just don't bother.
But I just find it way too long. Too dull. For such a, it's just too much of a build-up for the quick of a finish. You can compare that to whatever you want. I don't care. Make all the jokes you want. It's certainly not that exciting for that, whatever analogy you come up with. So I'm just going to give it 7. That's it. Yeah, 7.
So
Yeah,
that's
it's not... I don't mind it that much. I'll play it again, but I would personally never buy this game.
Well, why would you? I got it.
Yeah, that's fine. Even if you didn't have it, I probably wouldn't buy this. It's too dry for me. Takes too long. It just not that interested in it. Although it is pretty well put together in that. And the catch-up mechanism, yeah, I don't find it helped that much. The gap between all three of us here just kept growing and growing and growing. You know, whoever gets ahead pretty much stays ahead, and that's it. But yeah, 7. There you go.
So that's it for this episode of the Gamers Table. Wow, that's more exciting than that whole game. Tune in next week for another game review of another game. Hopefully not a boring one. Get it.
Ow! My nose. I don't know. Craig just tripped over something out there. Probably his fan. I don't know. That was hilarious. Crash, boom, bang as soon as he closes the door. Okay. We can stop laughing. I'll get up to my close-ups here. Well put together in that, although, yeah. What?
Carry on.
Oh, you just... Shut up.
Only place that he's ever been. Always shouts out something obscene. Such a dirty old man. Such a mean old man. It is a game that is very, very boring. It is long and boring. It is also boring and long.
It's one small step